All right, moving on to John Wick Chapter 3, which I just saw and I just reviewed 1 and 2 back to back. So, right now, starting the third one, I'm on a roll. Let's get into this. So, did John Wick Chapter 3 live up to the first two and make this a fantastic trilogy? Absolutely yes. Holy shit. It was badass. I have some gripes with it. It wasn't a perfect movie. I would honestly say that I liked 2 still the best of the 3. But man, this was a fantastic successor to John Wick Chapter 2. So this one thing, of course, you're going to know immediately that I'm going to love about this movie because of my continuity love, is that this one starts like the minute the second one ends. And it just does not let up from there. It starts with him out on the run. He's got the hour. You know, if you saw the first 2, you know what I'm talking about here. He's being hunted, and he's given a marker that binds somebody. He owes him something, which he owed somebody something in the last one. Somebody owes him something here. You knew that was going to play into it. It very much does. And man, there's some opening fight sequences. I will say, while this might not be my favorite in the franchise, I would still put 2 as my favorite for now. I have only seen this once, so maybe on my second viewing I'll put it above it. I don't know. Probably not. Chapter 2 is just so fantastic. So is this, but just like teeny bit below. But that being said, I will say that this probably has some of my favorite scenes in the entire franchise. Like, probably some of my favorite fight sequences, if not my favorite fight sequences. Probably my favorite death in the entire franchise, and that takes place in a library, involves a book. Holy shit. I love book fights, like when a book is involved, like in The Bourne Ultimatum, when they're using it and they're punching against it. I love that stuff, and it is on display here. The best I've ever seen it used. So, oh man, now I'm somebody who, when I'm in the theater and something super gnarly happens, when somebody's fucking head gets blown off, or when, someone fucking face gets curb stomped or something. I'm not saying that happens in this movie. That actually does not happen in this movie. But when something insane happens in a movie, I'm the asshole in the theater that laughs out loud, and everyone who's horrified gives me dirty looks. I got a lot of dirty looks during this movie. A lot of them, because I was laughing a lot. I was having such a good time. That first act was brutality at its most beautiful. There is so much great action sequences in this first act. They're all so amazing that I thought when we were like, maybe 30 minutes into the movie, I was like, holy shit, they're gonna do it. They're gonna outdo 2. This already is outdoing 2. If I was to compare first acts, this first act is the best in the franchise. Holy shit. Then the second act is where Halle Berry's character comes in, and I hate Halle Berry. I won't, hold back on that. I am not a fan at all. So when I heard she was in this, I had a feeling that was going to tarnish the film a little bit. And while I can say that I still don't care for her all that much, I don't feel like she hurt this film much at all, to be honest. There was a bias from me towards it, so for a minute she kind of had to win me over. But they did incorporate something very unique with her character here, and that is dogs. And I'm not going to say much more about that, but let me tell you, man, I've never seen a fight sequence with dogs and people before, but holy shit, it worked so cool, so badass. It just added a whole new layer to this fighting movies that I've never really seen done before. Kick ass. So the dog lady is a really cool character. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing more of it. It's crazy to me to say that because I don't like her, but I liked her character. I liked what they brought with that character. So you could sign me up for more dog lady. That was pretty badass stuff. A lot of returning characters. Everything feels like it was this feels like the same night. Everyone returns. Lawrence Fishburne, the concierge, the manager, Winston, you got them all. And they introduced, I will say that this one probably is the heaviest on the plot. They definitely ramp up the writing in this. I feel like the first one is just a simple revenge tale, and they throw a couple cool little things in here, like there's a hitman hotel and stuff, and that they have rules. And in the second one, they add a little more layers to it, like where they have the marker, and you owe somebody something, and if you spill blood on the Continental, which they do address in the first one, but in the second one, it obviously happens, and so we get to see the repercussions of what happens from that. And that's just it. As these films go on, John is faced with more and more repercussions for his actions. Every action has consequences, and this film shows how much those can kind of, exponentially grow as time goes on, and the more actions you commit, the more repercussions that come from them. And the flaws of this movie really for me is there is a character in this who is like a sushi chef, and he kind of brings comedy to his role, and it does kind of take you out of moments. I didn't hate it. I just felt like it was a little misplaced. I felt like there's a good subtlety to the humor within this film, in these films, the two previous installments. I felt like there was humor, but it was a little more subtle. The stuff with the concierge and the dog having their moment, kind of the stare back and forth, stuff like that. There are those moments, but this guy was a little too goofy. And I'm not going to say too much more about him. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see the movie, or if you've already seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you disagreed, maybe you loved him, and that's fucking fantastic. It's just, he was taking me out a little bit, but not so much where I was just like, I hate this guy, I wish he wasn't in the movie. The fight sequences were cool. You got Mad Dog from the Raid franchise, which was so badass to see in here. Man, he is tiny. Like when they're fighting, other dudes in like the Raid franchise, a lot of those guys are smaller guys. So even though he's smaller, he doesn't look that small. But when he's up against the big American action stars, Keanu Reeves and whatnot, who's probably Keanu Reeves is probably 6 feet tall. He dwarfs this guy, so it looks like he's fighting a kid. It's pretty funny. But to see him in here is very cool. I love that the Raid guys have been in all sorts of stuff, from Star Wars to, you see them all over the damn place. So they are getting their recognition. They are getting their screen time. Unfortunately, it's as bit character villains, but at least they're getting on the screen in these big action movies here. And this thing ends on a major cliffhanger. Like, you need a fourth one. Like, instantly when this was over, I was like, oh my God. That being said, though, there was a moment in this film that I thought it was over. I thought for sure that was going to be it, and they were going to end it there, and it was going to lead into a fourth one that would be coming out. I thought for sure. And then that's when the biggest action sequence happens, and it's like 20-something minutes long. So I thought the movie was going to end. They were going to cut to credits, and it was going to be like, to be continued. And I was going to be like, oh, that was badass. Like, that sucks. They have to end it there. I can't wait for the next one. And oh no, they weren't even close to done. There was at least a 20-25 minute action sequence of John versus an army. I mean, he must kill 150 dudes in this movie. Of course, every movie has a higher body count. Although in the first one, I think if I remember correctly, it has 78. So there's a lot, like, to up it from 78, shit. I think he kills as many people in this movie as Jason Voorhees does in freaking, let's see. Jason's not in a few of them. He's not in 3 of the damn movies, so 9 of the movies he's been in combined. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, I was a huge fan. I have my issues. As I said, I'll still rate it probably just below 2, but what a fantastic trilogy as it stands. It's absolutely, as long as it makes enough money, we'll have another one. Keanu Reeves has said he'd love to play this character as long as people want to see him. So he's down to do these for as long as we're still fans and still want more. And as long as they have these guys coming back, Chad, what's his last name? Like Chad Stilisky. Yeah, I mean, he's directed all freaking 3 of them. One of them was with the dude from Deadpool 2 and whatnot. These guys are coming back. They're doing these fight sequences like this. Shit, man, I'll watch, 5 more of these, 10 more of these, whatever. Keanu's getting a little old. He's in his 50s now, so I don't think he can do these forever. But I would love to see at least one more. They have to freaking do one more at least, because where this leaves off, you're going to be like, holy shit, sign me up for the 4th right now. I need to see it. The fights in this are brutal, man. There is some gnarly gore. There's an eye gouge scene that I couldn't believe made this fucking film. The whole audience, besides me, of course, I was laughing out loud, was in shock. And I was like, yes! You never see that kind of stuff on the screen. It's gruesome and great, and I can't wait for everyone to check this out. What a fantastic trilogy, and hopefully a quadrilogy soon enough. But yeah, you guys going to check this out soon? Please go see this. Please support fantastic action movies like this. This needs more attention. I hope it kills so that they absolutely greenlight a 4th film as quick as possible, and so that we can get it in the works and we can get it to me and everyone as quick as they can. Obviously, no rushing it. Make it well, but let's get it. Let's get it going. I don't know how long in between John Wick 1, 2, and 3 there was. I don't know what those are. So anyway, guys, as I've said in the past, consider checking out my Patreon. I'm trying to do that more because anybody who donates to the Patreon puts a little money towards the channel. I just had my freaking laptop break, completely broke, so I don't even know what the hell I'm going to do about my podcast now. I'm trying to figure things out, so it really does go towards the channel, because this does cost me a lot of time and money. And so any money towards the Patreon, any money towards this channel is greatly appreciated. And also check out In the Mic of Madness, which will still continue somehow, some way. But other than that, guys, let me know what you thought about this movie. It's badass. I hope you think so too. Adios.